Welcome to another video, guys. I'm Crystal5 and today I'll talk about my Hearthstone Nerfs prediction for Saviors of Uldum. In my nerf predictions for Rise of Shadows, I got a few of the cards right, so let's see if this one hits the spot as well.
Check out my new HyperX Quadcast mic, it's amazing.
As always, a like and a subscribe would greatly be appreciated, but now let's get into the video. Right now, it feels like there are three main classes that stand out and are not at all fun to play against. Those would be Warrior, Mage, and as of recently, Priest. Warrior has been a powerhouse ever since Dr. Boom came out, Mage has been problematic after the Galaxy buff, and now Priest is following their path after the inclusion of High Priest Amet. As you might have noticed, Blizzard almost always does a post-expansion nerf, 3 to 4 weeks after an expansion, so you should be ready for more nerfs soon. Don't forget that after a nerf hits a card, you can disenchant all of the copies you own of that card for its full dust value. Do not mistake this with the Hall of Fame cards, where you get the dust value of the half cards and you get to keep or disenchant your copies of that card. Let's start off with Priest, and more importantly, Combo Priest. People rediscovered this deck fairly quickly after the launch of Saviors of Uldum, and the deck has been on the top of the meta tier list ever since. It's a really flexible deck, and you can snag wins from seemingly unwinnable situations too. The main reason for that are two new cards, High Priest Amet and Psycho Pump. These two give so much value and tempo to the deck, and the new Injured Tovir and Nephris Ritualist give nice support to it as well. The obvious thing here would be to nerf the legendary card High Priest Amet, but I've noticed Blizzard doesn't really like nerfing new legendary cards and expensive cards in general. If they do nerf Amet, maybe they will drop his HP down to 5 or bump his mana to 5, but we might end up with a far more diabolical nerf that would not give us any bonus dust. For Priest to work, he needs to have a lot of card draw, and ever since the game launched, its best cycling tool was Northshire Cleric. We saw what happened to Mana Worm, so it's not too far-fetched to see similar nerfs to Cleric as well, bumping it either to 2 mana or reducing its HP to 2. That would make the Cleric far more susceptible to early game removal cards, and throwing it on turn 1 would not feel as strong. On the other hand, having to play it as a 2 mana on turn 2 opens it up to bigger removals, so that would definitely drop its power level. This would also reduce the power of extra arms, since Cleric is such a nice target for that buff early on. Nerfing the card draw potential for Combo Priest would indeed cause troubles for the best deck in the game right now, but a more straightforward nerf would be to actually touch another basic card. I'm talking about Divine Spirit. This card has enabled the Combo Priest archetype that has been in the game since forever, and in its current state you can throw ridiculous amounts of damage on your opponent as soon as turn 4. The only possible nerf on it would be to bump it to 3 mana, making it a lot harder to catch your opponents off guard. Sadly, both these nerfs will yield 0 dust game for us, if Blizzard decides to go that way, so let's hope they take the Amet route instead, if they even bother to nerf this powerful deck. I actually reached Legend with it yesterday with almost no effort and without really playing the deck before that, so it really is amazingly strong. There are a lot of powerful synergies and strategies with the deck, so if you master it, you will surely climb a lot of ranks as well. Now let's move to the Warrior class. It is really beyond my mind why didn't Blizzard nerf Warrior for this long, and I do believe that this decision has had a negative effect on the game and its popularity. A lot of people couldn't take Warrior Stone and actually quit the game or just stop playing till the popularity of Control Warrior drops down. After the new expansion, the deck even curves out, which is really not appropriate for a hard control deck like that. A lot of the new meta decks do well against Control Warrior, but that doesn't change the fact that one card is just way too strong for way too long. I'm talking about the obvious card that most of the community has begged Blizzard to nerf, Dr. Boom of course. It's really not healthy for the game to have such a cheap and powerful card in one class alone. Currently, this is the cheapest hero card that actually gives the most advantage in the game, and nobody seems to know why this is considered balanced. It gives the most armor, it gives great hero powers, and it gives an insane passive for the rest of the game. I know Warrior was in the dumpster for far too long, but printing out a single card that brings the class back to life is not a good decision if you ask me. A lot of YouTubers and streamers have already talked about the possible ways this guy could get nerfed, so I'm just gonna point out the ones I seem to like the most. The first one would be to bump his mana to 9 or maybe even 10. Right now, Warrior can afford to actually keep Dr. Boom even in his starting hand, and that is just insane for a 7 mana card. If it had higher mana, keeping it for that long would be a bigger punish for Warriors, and playing it deeper into the game would give the opponent a bigger chance to punish him. Another direction would be to nerf the passive it gives. As soon as Dr. Boom hits, it's pretty much game over for the board control of the other player, and Warrior already has so many ways to control the board anyway. A possible nerf here would be to give rush to the mechs in your hand only, or to give rush to the next 3 mechs you play. Something along those lines would feel a lot fairer, because right now it's just absurd. If it only gave rush to the mechs in hand, it would cause Warrior to wait for an Omega assembly or 2 before playing Boom, so that would definitely slow him down. There is rooms for nerfs in the hero power section as well, but we all know that's not the real problem. I wouldn't mind seeing a nerf in the blast shield though. Getting a cool 7 armor each time you get it is quite insane, and even though 7 is thematic for Dr. 7, I would give another thematic nerf proposal. Maybe make the armor game random, like in the boombots. Let's say give from 2 to 7 or something like that. The delivery drone also feels strong, but if the rush nerf hits, it would feel a lot fairer. I'm not saying the Dr. Boom should get all of these nerfs, but one of these sections should definitely get touched. Another card that feels way too strong for Control Warrior is the Omega Devastator. Having such a hard single target removal for only 4 mana with a 4/5 mech body to it doesn't really sound balanced, even for an Omega card. After Boom is played, this goes up to borderline broken, since you remove a medium target with it as well, and you have 6 mana to spare. And let's not talk about discovering it from assemblies and delivery drones. I see 2 possible nerfs here. One would be to slash the damage down to around 6, and another path would be to strip it from the mech tag. I don't think touching the mana here would matter too much, so a change in that direction doesn't seem too plausible. Another suggestion I'd like to mention here would not be a nerf, but actually a Hall of Fame. The card I'm looking at is Brawl. It seems like Warrior already has so many ways to deal with the board, no matter if it's wide or tall, but Brawl seems to be good in both cases. Losing or winning a game just because of a lucky or unlucky Brawl doesn't feel too great, so a half for this RNG fiesta of a card doesn't seem too far-fetched. I think that's enough attention for Warrior for now. Now it's time for the other elephant in the room, Mage. Currently, there are 2 main problems with the Mage class in Standard, Luna's Pocket Galaxy and Conjurer's Calling. Both of these provide insane value and tempo for the Mage class, and right now there are 4 different Mage archetypes hovering around Tier 1 and Tier 2. Let's start with Galaxy. This card was pretty much unplayable when it was sitting at 7 mana, but now it's pretty broken at 5. It opens up Mage to a lot of broken plays, and most mages keep it in their starting hand just because of it. A simple solution here is to bump the card to 6 mana and see if that balances it out, at least a bit, but other people suggest changing the effect instead. The card wouldn't feel as busted if the effect was working only for the next, let's say, 3 minions you draw, and it would still probably get played in those decks. The other card that feels just a little bit OP is Conjurer's Calling. I did expect this card to get nerfed last time, but it went under the radar back then. It's a really flexible card, which you can use offensively or defensively, and it being a twin spell makes it all that better. The nerf that would make the most sense here is to bump the card to 4 mana, but another interesting suggestion would be to hit the effect. A possible change would be to instead summon 2 minions that cost 1 less. This would be a nerf to the offensive side of the spell, but it would actually buff its defensive side. Not sure what else could be done with this card, but these 2 ideas sounds like they're in the right direction. And another possible half here that would hit Mage is if the Mountain Giant finally gets the boot. This is another card that a lot of people were expecting to leave Standard for a while now. To be honest, in the current meta it doesn't feel as oppressive as it did before, but it would still definitely hit the power level of mages, so I'm just throwing this idea out there. So what do you guys think? What would your nerf predictions be for this post-expansion nerf session? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. And that's about it for this video, guys. This is actually video number 100 for me, so I'd like to thank you all for being with me on this incredible journey. I hope you found the video helpful or at least interesting, and if you did, you know where the like and subscribe buttons are. Thanks for watching, I'm Crystal5 and I'll see you in my next video.